Hello my darlings, my name is Mina. Welcome to my channel Amina Reads, and today we're going to be talking about some of my most anticipated releases for 2023. I am going to be using my phone to reference Goodreads for this because I have an entire Goodreads shelf dedicated to keeping track of all of my 2023 anticipated releases. And I do want to note before I get into the video that I'm not going to give you a complete synopsis of every single book. I'm mostly going to tell you about the book and why I'm excited for it, maybe the genre and stuff like that, but it won't be like a very comprehensive summary. So if you're looking for that, head on over to Goodreads bestie. But yeah, let's do no thoughts, just vibes. No thoughts, just vibes and excitement. Okay? Okay. So let's get into this list. First three books I'm going to tell you about are actually from Tor, so shout out to Tor for sending this to me. You guys take such good care of me. First book we have here is Fonda Lee's An Untethered Sky. So this is Fonda Lee's latest work post Greenbone Saga, and you guys know that I am #1 fan of the Greenbone Saga, self-appointed, and I am #1 Hilo simp. I just love Fonda Lee. I think she's an incredible writer, so I can't wait to see what she's writing next. This is a novella. It's very short, and it is about this girl who is a part of a culture where people ride like these giant avian creatures, and she is basically, this is a story about her getting her own rook and like forging a bond with it. It sounds really interesting, very different than the Greenbone Saga for many reasons, but I think it'll be really fun. I think that Fonda Lee's mind is an incredible place, so I can't wait to read another book by her. Then we have The First Bright Thing by J.R. Dawson. In the promotional materials, this is being compared to The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and The Night Circus, and I loved both of those books. I thought they were really good. I loved the writing style in them. They were so atmospheric, and they were just really good reads for me, so I am excited for this just off the strength of that alone. But this is also about a ringmaster named Ren, and she has a wife. Ren, she can like time travel, so I can't wait to check it out. And also, this is an art copy, but this is like a proof copy, but the finished cover is really beautiful, so there's also that. And finally from Tor, we have Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tish, and this is a sci-fi space opera. It's about this girl named Kier, and she is a part of this kind of far-flung future where the Earth has died and people live in space. She lives on this space station called Gaia, and she's essentially wanting to get revenge against the people responsible for the death of Earth, but she is a part of this society that essentially is trying to enter her into this kind of like breeding program, and so she is fighting against this while stuff and things go on. I also know that this is going to have like a really strong sibling relationship in it because she is attempting to save her brother who's been like stationed at the front lines of some sort of battle. It sounds really interesting. I love a good space opera. I've heard amazing things about Emily Tish, and I think that this is her first full-length novel, so I'm excited to check it out. Shout out to Tor for sending these my way. Can't wait to read them. So up next we have Family Lore by Elizabeth Acevedo, and this is Elizabeth Acevedo's first adult fiction release. She typically writes YA. I have read one of her books before. I thought her writing style was really incredible, but I'm not usually much of a YA person, so I definitely have been keeping my eye on her career, just hoping and praying that she would have an adult release sometime soon, and the day has finally come. Well, not exactly, it comes out in the summer, but the time has come for her to finally write her adult debut, and I'm really excited about it. So this is about a Dominican family, and essentially one of the members of the family, her name is Flor, she has the uncanny ability to predict when someone is going to die, and so she decides that she wants to have a living wake where her family comes together to celebrate her life. And I don't know exactly what's going to transpire from there. Obviously the book hasn't come out yet, but I'm also not reading the synopsis too closely because I want to be surprised. I don't love always knowing exactly what I'm going into. I like to be shocked, so I don't know what it is going to be beyond that, but I am very excited for it. So the next book that I want to read is Small Worlds by Caleb Azuma Nelson. This is the same author as Open Water. I read his book in the summer, and I thought it was really incredible, just very beautifully written, like a wonderful meditation on masculinity and being a black man and moving through society and how that impacts you on an emotional and developmental level. I thought that book was really incredible, and so I can't wait to read more by him. Then we have The Bone Shard War by Andrea Stewart. And this book is the third book in the Drowning Empire series, and I have only read the first book in this series, so don't at me, but it is an incredibly interesting series about this country that is run by this king, and the king has this bone shard magic where he basically takes a bone tithe from every citizen in the country, and he uses their bones for this magic to power all of these mechanical constructs that basically run the country. And so we are following in the first book his daughter Lynn as she tries to unlock the key to this bone shard magic so that she can learn how to wield it for herself, so that she can hopefully inherit the empire from her father. There are some other POVs in the story, but that's like one of the main ones that's the most relevant to the plot initially. And I just found that book to be so interesting. The world building was really fascinating. It sets up a lot of really cool mysteries in that first book, so I really want to read the second book and obviously this third one, and I'm just excited to see the conclusion of this series. So yeah, really hyped for this release. Then we have another third book in a series that I'm hyped for, and it is called The Temple of Fortuna by Elodie Harper. And this book is the third book in the Wolf Den series. I read the first book in the Wolf Den series in the summertime, and it was really, really good. This is a historical fiction. It's set in Pompeii. It's about this character who is a slave and a sex worker, and basically her life and her experiences, and her trying to maneuver and scheme her way out of her position in life. It was so interesting. It was so well written. I really came to care a lot about the protagonist, and so I want to see how her life goes on in the next books, because her circumstances have changed quite a bit at the end of that first book. So I'm hoping that I can binge the second and third in 2023. That's my goal. Alright, up next we have Silver Nitrate by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and I love Silvia Moreno Garcia. This is going to be cool fiction. So it's set in the 90s, and it's basically about people joining this cult, and it deals with these people messing around with kind of forces that they should not be messing around with, and there's some magic involved in the story, and I don't really know too much beyond that, and I don't want to know too much beyond that. I think that Silvia Moreno Garcia is just a great writer. I have been slowly but surely working my way through her backlist, and I'm just so fascinated by her as a writer and her career thus far, so I can't wait to see what this new release is going to be like and how I'm going to feel about it. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped for it, and I believe it's coming out in the summer, so very hyped. Alright, so this next book that I'm going to tell you about is a romance by this author named Kathy Yardley, and this book is called Role Playing, and I am really excited about this romance, kind of for a random reason, I guess, but it's about these older protagonists. So I think that the guy is 50 and the woman is 48, and I don't think that I have ever read a romance where the characters are like well over 30. I don't think I've ever read one, and if I have, I can't really remember it very distinctly. But yeah, so it's about like these middle-aged gamers, and they meet in some like online gaming community, and it's about them just like falling in love with each other through these games that they're playing, and it just seems really cute and really sweet, and I just want to see like how it's going to play out and what it's going to be like, because I think that a lot of the romances that I tend to read where the characters are a bit younger, there's a lot of immaturity there. So I'm wondering, will the characters have like a more mature outlook? Will there be better communication? Will there not be? We'll see. I'm excited to. So then we have One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake, and this is... So Olivia Blake is basically getting like her entire backlist republished through traditional means, and after having been self-published initially. And what I understand from this is that this is sort of a Romeo and Juliet type of retelling about these warring families. I think both of the families are like witches, and so they are warring against each other for whatever reasons, and then there is love blossoming between. I love a good Romeo and Juliet retelling. Yeah, I really like Olivia Blake. I have found that she is kind of a new favorite author for me. I hesitate to say that because there have been some books by her that I really loved and a few that were flops for me, but I think that she's an author that I really I feel compelled to read more by her. I think that her take on like fantasy and paranormal stories is always really interesting to me, so I can't wait to give this a shot. Hopefully it's going to be really good. My fingers are crossed. Next book that I have to tell you about, we're going back into the romance category. So we have Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. This is a YA romance, and this is about two ex-best friends. They kind of drifted apart during high school, while one of them, I believe is the guy, his name's Bradley, I think, and he is a bit of a popular guy. He's on like the football team and everything like that. And then he had this girl best friend who was a bit more on the nerdy side. She's like a content creator online, and her and the popular crowd just don't mesh. So her and Bradley, like, they no longer are friends. They end up seeing each other at this survival camp thing, and they have to be partnered together to survive in the wilderness, and I suppose some romance blooms from there. It sounds like it's going to be really cute. I don't read much YA, and definitely not much YA romance, but I think that Talia Hibbert is an incredible writer, and I love her sense of humor. I love the way that she writes romantic chemistry. She's just an author where it's like a sure bet that I'm going to have a good time reading it, so I want to read it. Okay, so the next book that I'm really hyped for is The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest, and I believe that Christina is mostly a YA author thus far, and she writes YA romances that I've heard nothing but good things about, and this is her first, I believe, adult romance, and this is about these two characters that are neighbors. One of them, she works in publishing, but she really wants to be editing children's books, but she's stuck in kind of the nonfiction division. She's not too happy with her career thus far, but she has started up a correspondence with one of her favorite fantasy authors, and so that's something that brings her a lot of joy, and she ends up needing a date to her sister, I believe, her sister's wedding, and so she asked her neighbor if he'd be interested in going on this date with her. They get closer, and things kind of spark from there. It just sounds like it'll be a cute, sweet romance. I like the neighbors trope, or like the roommates trope, when characters are really in like very close proximity to each other and then romance blooms. I have a lot of appreciation for that trope. I think that is very cute, very fun, so I'm excited to check it out. Sticking with the romances, the next book that I have here is The Nanny by Lana Ferguson, and this book is about a girl named Cassie. Yes, it's about this girl named Cassie, and she has been without a job for a while now, and so she's kind of approaching dire straits when she comes across this very perfect job for her as a live-in nanny with this hot single dad. She doesn't know he's hot until she gets there, but with this hot single dad, and so it's the perfect job for her. So she gets there and everything's going good, except she used to be a creator on OnlyFans, and he is actually one of her best clients. So this seems like it's going to be wild and hopefully very sexy. I like nanny romances. I think that they're very interesting and cool and fun and cute. Obviously, maybe not in real life, but the fantasy of it is very cute. I like it. I like the boom instant family quality of it. That's fun. I think that this will be really sexy. There'll be lots of tension involved, so I am very hyped for it. I haven't heard anything about this author before, so this might be her debut, but I'm excited. I'm hyped. I cannot wait to read it, and I'll let you guys know how I feel about it. Because I just got approved on NetGalley for the ARC. Another very hyped release for me is going to be Happy Place by Emily Henry. This is about this couple that was together. They broke up, but they have this very large friend group that they haven't broken the news to yet. So they're going on like their annual friend vacation, and they haven't told their friends that they are no longer together yet. So this book just seems like it's going to be good. Like, I really have enjoyed Emily Henry in the past. I have kind of a rocky relationship with her. I think that she's an amazing writer, but I think that some of her books are hits and some of them are misses for me. But I am hoping and praying on my knees, begging that this is going to be another one of her books that's a hit for me, because it just sounds really cute, and I like the second chance romance trope. And I like this idea of kind of fake dating after being broken up. Like, something about it is really interesting, so I can't wait to see how this storyline is going to play out. And yeah, I'm hyped for it. Shout out to Berkeley for approving me for an ARC. I'll be reading it as soon as I can. But yeah, incredible, incredible. Can't wait to read it. We have Behind the Scenes by Corelia Steets Waters. This book is like a Hollywood sapphic romance. I read this other book called Satisfaction Guaranteed by Corelia Steets Waters in 2021, and I really liked it. It wasn't a very like hyped release. I didn't hear too many people talking about it, but I had a blast reading it. It was like an opposites attract trope, and it was just a good time for me. So I can't wait to read another book by her, and I'm always on the hunt for more sapphic romances, so this one is on my radar. Can't wait to read it. We have Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Call. This is a fantasy novella about this woman who is a mermaid, The synopsis is a bit weird, but I like weird fantasy. This is about this mermaid who has recently murdered her husband, and she is traveling through like this tundra with this doctor, trying to evade various dangers on their journey. And it's really short. It's a novella. It's only about 100 pages, but it sounds very intriguing. And I don't think I've ever really read a mermaid centric story, so I'm fascinated by it and I want to give it a shot. Another book that I'm kind of excited for, even though I don't know anything about it, is Blood Over Bright Heaven by M.L. Wong. Do I really know what this book is about? No, but M.L. Wong is the writer of The Sword of Kaigen, which is another book that I haven't actually even read yet, but I just have faith that it's going to be a new favorite for me, and so I am preemptively very excited about M.L. Wong's next release, if that makes any sense. So yeah, that book is coming out this year. Excited to see what it's all about. Then we have The Secret Lives of Country Gentlemen by K.J. Charles. K.J. Charles is one of my favorite historical romance writers. She writes almost exclusively queer romances, and I don't think she's ever written a straight romance, but I don't know. Can't speak to it because I haven't read her entire backlist, but I'm working my way through it, and I just think she's an incredible writer. A great sense of humor. The writing style is really great, really immersive, and I am trying to read her entire backlist, and I definitely have to check out her latest release. All right, then we have Heavenly Tyrant, the second book in the Iron Widow series, and I read Iron Widow, and I feel like it's a series that has a lot of promise for me, so I can't wait to pick up the second one and see how I feel, see how the series evolves, and I'm planning to reread Iron Widow. Then we have He Who Drowned the World, which is the second book in the Radiant Emperor series. The first book is called She Who Became the Sun. She Who Became the Sun, one of my favorite reads of 2022. Just a really incredible historical fantasy. I absolutely love the main character in that, and so I am excited to see how their journey continues. And yeah, it's just an incredible series. I don't want to talk too much about it because I just want you to read it. I just want you to read it and see for yourself, but it is just so good. The writing is so beautiful, so lyrical, so queer. It's fantastic in a lot of different ways. I love the characters are really ruthless and ambitious characters, and so I just really am excited to see like where this series is going, what's going to happen next, and how the author is going to kind of up the stakes, because shit went crazy in the first book. So very excited to see how this series is continuing on, and yeah, like I just can't wait. Alright, the next book I'm really excited about is another fantasy, and this is called The Witch King by Martha Wells. And this is about this witch king who was murdered, but his consciousness has been carrying on for some time, and he gets reawakened sometime later to someone trying to siphon away his magic. And it just seems like kind of an interesting concept, and I have read a book by Martha Wells in the past. I have read the first installment in her Murderbot Diaries series, and I enjoyed it. I didn't continue on with that series, but I think that her writing style has a lot of promise for me as a reader. I like magic, so I'm gonna check it out. Alright, so the last book on this list, and the one that I am definitely the most excited about, is The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi by S.A. Chakraborty. I love S.A. Chakraborty. She wrote one of my favorite series of all time, the David trilogy, and I just can't wait to read her next book. Like, I really can't. This is about a mother who is like a pirate sea captain, and it just seems like it's going to be so fun. S.A. Chakraborty has an incredible writing style. I love the way that she writes journeys and adventures, and I think that her writing style is very beautiful, very lush, very immersive, and so I can't wait to get immersed in a new world by her. So yeah, I'm so pumped for this. You guys don't understand. Definitely my most anticipated release of the entire year, and I don't know, like my hopes are sky high, so I'm praying that I won't be let down by this. But yeah, definitely my most anticipated release by far. Thank you all so much for watching. Do be sure to leave me some comments about your most anticipated releases of the year. I hope to see you in my next video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and turn on post notifications if you'd like to see more of my face and more of my content. Bye, you guys.